Interesting to see what is said about that.
Lost opportunity for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Without a doubt, definitely lost. I don't see how they recover from this.
Despite an all-time night from LeBron James, the Warriors survive in overtime by a questionable decision from J.R. Smith. They take game one, 124-114.
I think we played as well as tonight. We played as well as we've played all postseason, and we gave ourselves a chance, possession after possession after possession, and there was just some plays that was kind of taken away from us. As simple as that.
One of the most memorable and iconic moments in NBA history was Allen Iverson's 48-point performance, crossover, and step over on Tyronn Lue. And we also remember not too long ago in the bubble when the short-handed and undermanned Miami Heat beat the Los Angeles Lakers after a 40-point triple-double performance by Jimmy Butler, which had him feeling himself to the point of telling LeBron and the Lakers that they were in trouble. So, what do these two performances have in common? They both came at a time when they were desperately needed by their teams in a series that seemed decided as the odds were stacked against them. However, with these historic performances, these players were able to shock opponents and fans in a dominant fashion, giving them hope in the series, along with a little extracurricular activity. On the 31st of May in 2018, LeBron was about to do just that. In fact, he did everything in his power to do so until his teammate J.R. Smith had what seemed like a brain cramp on the biggest stage of basketball. A mistake so bad that some people felt like it drained all the little hope that the Cavs had of winning that series, and a mistake so bad that LeBron couldn't look my man in the eye, and when asked about it, he preferred to walk out instead of talking about it. It also made him punch a whiteboard, causing a hand injury. This is a mistake that will sadly define the rest of JR's career, at least according to memes. And we'll talk about all that in this video if you stick around to the end. But real quick, the Cavs team was coached by Tyronn Lue, the same guy Iverson crossed and stepped over, so moment of silence for my guy for being on the wrong side of finals history twice. The Cleveland Cavaliers were facing the Golden State Warriors for the fourth straight finals, but unlike the first two times when the Warriors and the Cavs were neck and neck in the finals, things were different this time. The Warriors had made the addition of Kevin Durant the season prior, and the Warriors had beaten LeBron and Kyrie the previous year, but this time, the Cavs were without Kyrie, and the Warriors were seated comfortably on the throne of champions in the NBA. The big question wasn't whether they were going to win the championship, but how many games it would take them. The Warriors dynasty was perhaps the most dominant it had ever been, with this starting lineup that had 4 All-Stars and arguably 4 future Hall of Famers and 2 league MVPs, with a combined 3 MVP trophies. On the other hand, the Cavs starting lineup was this. Take LeBron out of this team and replace him with any other star in the league, and they most likely wouldn't have made the playoffs, let alone the finals. He had willed this team through the playoffs, playing 2 series that went to a Game 7. There were the Pacers who took the Cavs to 7 games, then they faced the Raptors and swept them because, LeBronto, and then there were the Celtics who also took the Cavs to 7 games in a close and draining series. But with this team on this day and on the road in his 8th straight finals, LeBron was about to have one of his best finals performances of his career. With many questioning his position as the best player in the league, and many attempting to give the title to Kevin Durant, LeBron was ready to remind them whose league it was. Right from tip-off, the game seemed even, which was unexpected. The Cavs tried to take an early lead on the Warriors, but no matter how hard you try, you know it's incredibly difficult to contain 2 of the greatest scorers in the game. So the Warriors were also right there the whole time. But nonetheless, LeBron was giving them the business with the help of his teammates. In the second quarter, LeBron would come out more aggressive than he was in the first. At one point, the Cavs led by 11, but the Warriors quickly erased the lead. But even then, you could tell something was different. LeBron was dictating the pace of the game, tearing apart every defensive scheme the Warriors had for him, and orchestrating the offense in a way that made his team stay in the game as he was making plays for his teammates. But Cleveland had a scare towards the end of the second because, Draymond had to put on his black Air Force Ones as he poked LeBron in the eye, bursting his capillary. But the one-eyed LeBron wasn't a tad bit slower as he finished the half with 24 points. The third quarter was pretty much the same as the second. We looked like a 9th seed with the best player in the world, trading punches back and forth with the best team in the league. No team took any major lead, but in the third there was a momentum shift which had the Warriors looking more dominant, but it was nothing too crazy. Pretty much the only crazy thing that happened in the third was Mark Jackson saying this about LeBron's wife.
Won't go. Kevin Love the rebound. I'm shocked you downplayed Savannah. He said she was all city. James again from downtown. And I'd hit out the park, no question, with all due respect.
And things became interesting in the fourth. In fact, this is where LeBron's forgotten performance and JR's big moment come in. At this point, Bron had 36 points and 7 assists and was pretty much carrying the team's offense, but the Warriors came out strong. The game was still one of trading punches and shots, but the Warriors had it going their way. There's 4 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth. The Warriors are up 3, and Steph Curry hits a 3 over Kevin Love, putting them up by 6. The Cavs have to make a move or this could easily go out of their control. Watch how LeBron, with the help of Kevin Love, carries the team to a point of winning the game. And keep a close eye on the score. Don't be like JR.
James drives past Durant, gets inside, layup is good. James drives past Curry, gets inside, and throws it down. Curry off the dribble to the basket, left-handed scoop. Really went in. Ball tipped, taken by Kevin Love. Love fakes the 3, now fires, and hits. Again on the switch. Picks up James, 8 to shoot. James drives, shot blocked, count it, and one. And a chance for the three-point play. Very impressive turnaround from the Cavaliers.
Not to take a timeout.
James drives, double clutches, and puts it in. Opportunity to get the ball back, but they don't have defenders in. Curry drives, count it, and one. Give the Warriors the lead, and does.
At this point, LeBron has a finals career high of 49 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. With 2 more points, this game could be over. And this team could beat one of, if not the greatest team ever assembled. With 7 seconds left, just watch how the whole team has their eye on LeBron. Clearly, it's not the smartest move for him to try and score. So he makes a better play for a cutting George Hill, who then gets fouled. George Hill makes the first free throw and ties the game. At this point, probably everybody in the building except JR knows what the score is. And his pose from the free throw line should have been a sign. George Hill takes the second free throw and misses it. And the rest is history and not the good kind.
Hill misses. Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out. Throws it to Hill. Hill shot blocked. And we'll go to overtime. To get the feeling J.R.'s held.
JR forgot the score and thought they were ahead, so he dribbled out the ball so that the Warriors would have no chance of getting it in time. Everyone on the court was panicking, wondering what's next, except JR, and all this happened after a hard-fought battle and a historic performance by James. The whole Cavs team pretty much looked like this after that play. LeBron was so angry that as he sat on the bench, the whole team just watched him sit, except JR, who went and sat right next to him. But even then, LeBron was trying so hard not to even look at him. By the way, shout out to JR for not cowering and standing firm in his mistake and owning up to it in the moment, even though that was crazy. This mistake did more than just cost them a possession, but it broke their spirit as a team. They lost all motivation and it was clear in their play, and for the Warriors, it was a completely different story. It was the spark they needed, and going into overtime, the Cavs only scored 7 points, which was nothing compared to the Warriors who put up 17 points. And LeBron only scored 2 points, giving him the 4th most points in a finals game, but that didn't matter. After the game, LeBron was so furious that he punched a whiteboard so hard and got injured. And his hand got swollen, yet he played through the injury for 3 more games before getting it taken care of. So he was one-eyed and one-handed. J.R. Smith later said that he was aware of the score and what happened, which we all know is just cap. However, It caused uncertainty in the media, and when LeBron was asked about it, he went into a back and forth war of words with a reporter about what was going on with JR in the moment.
The play at the end with JR getting the rebound, there's still confusion about whether JR thought the game was tied or whether he thought you guys were ahead. From where you stood on the court and from talking to him after the play, what's your reaction to it? What's your version?
What do you mean, what's my version?
Well, did he think that the game was tied, or did he think that you guys had it salted away?
How do I know that?
Or did you discuss it at all with him at the end of the play?
No. They asked me if I talked to JR about it. I said no already.
It got to a point where he had clearly had enough, and he just walked out.
I don't know what JR was thinking. I don't know the question you're trying to ask.
I was just trying to see if you knew exactly what his state of mind was. Did he think that you guys had it won, or did he think he was trying to make a play? Not sure.
What do you mean I'm not sure? No, I don't know his state of mind.
Did you know if he knew the score?
Thank you. To be frank though, there's no way JR knew what the score was. I mean, look at his face. But it sucked for JR because just the next season he expressed that he didn't feel wanted in Cleveland and was without a team 2 seasons later, until he was reunited with LeBron in the bubble as the Lakers needed extra players. But you know, LeBron couldn't risk anything, so JR didn't play a single minute in the finals, and it seemed to work. Now they both got a ring. But in all seriousness though, mistakes do happen, and there's no reason why we should let one thing define J.R. Smith, especially when he's had better moments, like that time he went shirtless for 2 days. Since you've made it to the end of the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.